Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot and welcome to today's reading. So, these readings have become a little bit of an evolution, just kind of looking at what happens one day, and we ask our questions based on that, plus, of course, the notes that come in from you. So, today will be no exception. Yesterday, we did reading about soulmates, and we determined that this soulmate is coming. And we learned a little bit more about the person, a little bit more about the bond once we got into the extended. So now we know a little bit more about the situation overall. So this person's coming, like it or not, and they've got kind of an intense vibe about them. There's triggering all around, and not necessarily in a bad way. So there's every sense that once you let that tower fall, you're going to love it. There's a lot of enjoyment even in letting the tower fall. There's a sense of release, but enjoyment and being caught when you need to be caught. Um, but we keep seeing that Two of Swords come out for you. It's a decision to make, mostly. It's about how you're going to spend your time, or more appropriately, how you're going to spend your energy. Um, and so we're going to look into kind of where you're going. It'll be that general reading for this collective, as always. So it won't resonate with everybody, but if it does resonate with you, then, by all means, take a look at some of the other videos and then maybe think about subscribing. As we get in here, what we notice is that these readings have been very much connected, and they continue to be very connected. So as we get into this one, it'll be a continuation of the energy, but I've also been getting some notes to say, I'm done with my person, with that divine masculine, or feeling like that divine masculine is done with you. Want to think about how to extract your energy. So let's start out by looking at the energetic backdrop, just that energetic weather that you're swimming in. But when we get into the body of this, it's next steps, but I want us to also be getting, like hearing a little bit about what you can do to not necessarily extract your energy, but protect your energy from what's happening with your divine masculine. Maybe hear a little bit about that situation. So this ends up being kind of a soulmate reading again, but it's a little bit more heavily weighted toward you and a little bit more slanted toward you. At this point, though, we're getting kind of just that energetic backdrop. So that's going to be energy that would impact more than just you, but it's that, like I said, it's that energy that you're kind of swimming in. So we've got the Two of Swords in the reverse. That's the difficult decision that it's a difficult decision to make, okay? A difficult decision about how to spend your energy going forward. And one of the things that I feel like this is about for you, the way that it plays out for you. So for your person, it'll play out differently. For this new soulmate, it'll play out differently. The way that this plays out for you, though, I feel like you have a choice to make about how you want to move forward with regard to how you utilize, or how you parse out your energy. You've been spending a lot of energy on this divine masculine, and now you have other opportunities coming out for you, places where you have a chance to use this energy. So you're not necessarily completely cutting off the supply of energy to this divine masculine, but you may be changing the mix of the energy such that less of it goes there and more goes to, say, a new soulmate, or more of it goes to some hobbies that you've kind of gotten into. And that's where some of this decision making becomes very difficult. So again, it's not just how you're going to spend your time, but it's also how you're going to spend your energy. And right away, it starts to come out here again. And I feel like it's relevant once again to the question that I keep receiving about how do I extract my energy, or more appropriately, how do I redirect it? What's the right mix? Because you don't necessarily want to pull it completely off of this person. There's an opportunity here, and we see this clearly with the Judgment card. There's an opportunity to look deeply into the situation as it's occurring and really consciously and intentionally apply your solution. Like, figure out how you want to take those steps forward, and then take those steps forward very intentionally, such that you can undo some damage that's happened in the past. And this is going to be damage that happened long before your person came, This is that ancient pain sort of damage. So these are things that happen to you in your childhood. This is things that maybe in some cases you were raised with values that have you realizing that there may be some changes that you want to make in your life, things that would make you feel more comfortable going forward, things that allow you that you can impact by changing the mix of how you spend your energy, or what that combination looks like, what that permutation looks like. You could, instead of spending 90% of your waking energy on your job, focus more like 40% of it. Or you could, instead of spending 50% of your waking energy on this person, your person that you've been working through everything with, this divine masculine, it could go down to 30 or 40%. So you definitely have some things to work out. What that tells me, part of all, okay, so it's really these two. There's like two stacks that have come out. The Devil and the Two of Swords we have to talk about together, and then I don't know if we're going to use any of the other cards because I kind of never know till I feel them. We've got the Devil and the Two of Swords. Again, with the decision, it's the decision coming out of both decks. This is in the energy. It's a little bit of an energy of kind of forcing a decision, but it's also, there's so much in here about move forward. This is the time to move forward. There's a lot of anxiety around moving forward, a lot of fear around moving forward, but a lot of benefit with the idea of moving forward. So this is one of those things where, again, and we saw this in yesterday's reading, I think, it was about pushing away some of the change that was going to come, that honestly, once that change gets here, it's going to be a very positive thing. It's going to be opening a new door for you. So there's some resistance that you have to get past. Definitely, we've been seeing this in your energy. We saw that with regard to dealing with a new soulmate. This is that door, walking through a new door, opening a door, making changes in lifestyle. So not necessarily that these changes are being forced on you or that they are happening to you, but this is a good time to make changes in your lifestyle. So this could be something that's in your household. It could be something that's relevant to your job, your family, your social situation, wherever you spend your time and you feel like is home. So it could even be hobbies, volunteer work. You're opening a door, or you're ensuring that a door remains open. And this really resonates particularly for me in the way that many times here you've gotten the advice to leave the door open, but don't watch to see if your person is walking through it. This feels like you learning how to keep that door open. So for those of you who are trying to figure out how to dismiss this energy or how to extract yourself from the energy of what's going on between you and your person, just know this bond can be very difficult to walk away from. It's not even necessarily beneficial for you to walk away from it. It may be, so this Five of Swords reads for me like a Five of Wands, and it fits right in with what I'm saying. It feels like, rather than focusing your energy on trying to get out from under this, just kind of redirecting that energy. And I understand this is not an easy thing to do. If it was, we wouldn't have the Two of Swords here twice. But it's how do you redirect that energy in such a way that you still get to learn the lessons, but you don't have to entertain the kind of the pain that comes along with interacting with this person in the future. Let's see here. Knight of Wands came out, Queen of Wands, and the Two of Cups is not part of it. Okay, so we have the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Wands, both of which come out in the reverse. This is relevant to your expectations, but it's actually, when you put these two things together, it's very emotionally intelligent. It's your emotional intelligence, but it's also like it's a culmination of your emotional intelligence and your self-worth. Coming together to say that when you encounter somebody who is behaving the way that your person has behaved, so this is an inconsistent pattern, you have grown from this experience, and you no longer will necessarily react the same way that you have reacted in the past. So you are more inclined to kind of not move as quickly in the future because of this, or to understand if you are going to move more quickly. It isn't so much about the speed. It's more about why are you doing what you're doing? And it's about being aware of why you are doing what you're doing. So in the future, you are going to, as you move into situations with this new soulmate, as you move into repeat interactions potentially with this previous soulmate, because remember, you're not closing that door. You're not necessarily cutting them out, because with your bond being what it is, you still have something to gain here. So even if they frustrate you, it's more a matter of accommodating other energy than it is cutting off their energy. But understanding as you move into new situations why you're doing what you're doing. So all of that is kind of being baked into you now in this energy. And maybe it feels a little bit intense. Let's look into what you need to know. All right, so given this backdrop, you know you have a new soulmate coming your direction. You may be a little frustrated with the energy, but we're being told right here this is great energy to kind of maintain the connection because you kind of have to. You kind of are not really going to be able to break this bond. Even those who make a very intentional effort to sever the bond, depending on how successful you are, you can do some damage to yourself. You can even make it show up as physical damage if you are successful at somewhat severing that bond, but it does have a tendency to grow back because the need is still there and because the bond is still meant to be there. Whether or not you interact with this person in a physical world sense is a whole different story. You can extract yourself from that situation and choose to, learn the lessons but not interact with them in the physical world sense. And that is definitely an option here for those of you who are looking at how you extract yourself or how you cut this off. But let's look to see what you need to know in this energy, because it's going to be what you need to know, but it's relevant to this person in particular because we know that there is energy of them wanting to come your direction. A lot of magnetism there. It results in a lot of frustration on both sides. Both of you feeling like you're fighting it for different reasons. You're doing it for self-worth reasons, and they're fighting it for reasons of they just need to be able to, they need to have control of the situation. It's very important for them to feel like they have control of the situation. And if they're kowtowing to this magnetism, then they are not feeling in control of the situation. It's that King of Cups issue all over again. So not to mention, they've got some complications in their life that we know about, and you may also. So at this point, you may both be dealing with some complications around your own third-party energies. I feel like more often than not, the third-party energies on your divine masculine side are impacting their ability to interact with you. So them coming your direction even, it's impacting that. And they are learning more about themselves as they go. The third party energies on your side are probably more going to be interacting or impacting the interactions between you and this new soulmate that is heading your direction, or that you may be interacting with a little bit more now. So we saw that come out in yesterday's reading. Came out a little bit, maybe a couple times, about the interactions with, it might even be like a political situation where it's a work thing, and you may have to make some decisions about how you want to interact there and how you want to come across and how much control you want to have over that. With the Magician, though, one of the things that I'm noticing, there's this real feeling of hands being tied, like being more and more aware of the nature of the bond and feeling more like I can't shake this. So you might both be experiencing this. I feel like this is a little bit shared. For those of you who are saying, how can I just extract myself from this? And we see that, extraction isn't necessarily the answer here. But we also see that you're not alone in this. Your person is also feeling kind of this frustration of, what do I do in this situation? I don't have control over it, and it's very frustrating to me. How do I extract myself from a situation that I can't seem to shake? It's unshakable. I don't have control. I am learning more and more about the nature of this bond, and it's not feeling better to me. In your case, you have some opportunities. I feel like it's like a switch is going to turn, and all of a sudden the opportunities, even around this situation, you're going to realize that it can completely bring everything that you need. This manifestation card, this magician card that's in the reverse up here. This is the magician in reverse. I don't think I said that. The magician in reverse is making them feel like they can't manifest their happiness. And it's like they're as they get into it more, the more they realize that this learning is kind of clinging on to them, the more they realize that they don't have control over it, and that kind of destroys it for them. For you, though, I feel like you do lean into this, and you figure out that it is a key to your happiness, partially, not the least of which being because you're going to use some of what you learned here, even some of what you watched them do and learned from. You're going to use some of that in your situation with this new soulmate, in those interactions, just being able to navigate the situation a little bit better. So we've got the Seven of Coins here. A memory of, you may get hit with a couple of memories that are persistent memories. So this is actually really positive, because I'm like, why doesn't this feel bad? This feels like it should feel bad. It does not feel bad because of all of these things. Okay, so this is all together. I'm going to talk about all this together. Seven of Coins first. The Seven of Coins, and we've got the Eight of Coins, and we've got the King of Coins and the Queen of Swords. A lot of earth energy, a lot of groundedness. What I get from this is there's a recognition of not having invested properly in this situation. You're going to be having memories, those nostalgic memories of times when they did not invest in this situation. So this is about you and they may also be having this, but this specifically is about you and your experience of it. It's part of what's going to galvanize you. Okay, so you're going to be remembering times when they did not deliver, essentially times when they did not deliver, and you're going to be seeing them now through some different eyes, through the eyes of someone who knows that they are deserving. We've got the King of Coins here, which talks about among other things, a feeling of deserving, a feeling like you've earned something, not so much deserving it like because you're entitled to it, but more deserving it because you've earned it, you've grown into it, and you know now that this investment was not sufficient. The other thing is this new soulmate that you have coming in reinforces that for you. So this becomes inherently less painful. But here's the thing, because of this Eight of Coins, I think it's even before this other soulmate is coming in, your healing is such that this is already less painful. Sometimes it's a matter of going over a memory a couple of times to have it lose its edge a little bit so that the painfulness of it starts to fall away. And I think that that's what happens here in this energy. We have the Queen of Swords here, which sometimes that's about hasty decisions. In this case, I don't feel like it is hasty decisions, but what I do feel like it is the ability to, it's the ability to really cut something off completely and not feel like it's kind of hanging on and still like it's cleanly being removed instead of leaving some sort of residue behind that won't let you shake it. You're learning lessons a little bit more thoroughly in this energy. And that's what I see here with this. It's again, the door open for that sort of learning, for the sort of quest of, okay, part of, and you have this wonderful self-trust going on here with the Seven of Swords, but part of this quest that you're on, so both of you are on this Eight of Cups quest to find your wish fulfillment. Your person, and that's, remember that wish fulfillment is that Nine of Cups. Your person has discovered that their Nine of Cups is something very different from what they have been experiencing, what they built their life into. And so now they're kind of in this swirling place where they have to figure out what to do about it. It's not necessarily quick. It could take quite a bit of time. Sitting and waiting for it is not going to benefit you, but you've been learning in the time that they've been doing their processing. So one of the things that I would say here is that incredible increase in self-trust. You guys have been helping each other along the way. One of the things that you need to know, we asked what you need to know here, and one of the things that you need to know is that even though this has been a very painful experience for you and to some degree for both of you, this has been something that has really brought you a long way, brought you a lot of learning. There's a lot of increase in self-trust that you have gathered, and not to say that there isn't still some to go. This is inner child healing. You know, if we want to get into something that you can look up, something that you could do an internet search and basically never find the bottom of. If you go to inner child healing, what it essentially amounts to, and there's a million ways to do it, which is why you might do such a search, but what it amounts to is becoming the thing that you needed at the time, that there was no one there for you during your development, you know. And as you satisfy that, as you become that person, this quest begins to take some different shape, and so does that Nine of Cups, so does that wish fulfillment. So what constitutes happiness looks a little different. Maybe it's not looking for a place that'll just make you feel safe in any port in a storm. Maybe it's, no, I want a port that has this specifically. I'm really into this, you know. Okay, so we've got the Knight of Swords here. There's still a lot of fear in this relationship. One of the things that comes out here, and this is almost like a universe messages for your divine masculine message relationship. And maybe if I can remember it, that's what I'll call this. But it's messages from the universe about your divine masculine relationship is really what this is. And this person is still not ready. They're still not ready. Here we go again. They're still not ready. And yet there's just this outrageous amount of love. They are unhappy in their situation. We already know that they're unhappy in their situation. They have a tendency to overthink it. And they've got another thing coming. They've got, okay, I don't know how I'm going to fit all these cards in here. And then we still want to do this third section. And then we still, I think we keep going with this when we get into the extended, because it's like the information just wants to keep coming out. And that's really what it is. Messages from the universe about your divine masculine situation, because it's not necessarily even a situation that you want to move directly, you want to continue to move into, but you're kind of tied into it. And so in order to get to this tower, which we know that for you, this can be incredibly positive, it may not just involve this person, but you are prepared for this because of this person, because of what you've learned here. We see that they are not ready to progress in this situation just yet, but they're still learning and kind of turning some corners as well. They're not happy. They're in a third-party situation that they have some resolution they still need to find, and they have a tendency to overthink it. They have a tendency to think themselves into kind of a circle, and it's an uncomfortable thing for you to get caught up in, because basically this discomfort that you're feeling is you being caught up in their cycle somewhat. So I did leave us some space before we go into this. So when we go into the extended, I think we just look for some additional messages. We are getting some absolute golden messages here about your divine masculine situation. And maybe this is, I feel like it's high level, but it's a lot of wonderful clarity coming out here. And it's a great time for it. So maybe this is perfect, because this is the context with which you would take all of this. Hey, you're ready to solve some issues, and here's a bird's eye view of everything. Now, to go along with that, before we get into the extended, where we'll look more deeply into this, we're going to look at where you need to focus, given what you've got here on the table. So this feels like we've got something by the tail with this reading a little bit. It's so I'm not much of a person who goes fishing, okay? But there's a feeling when you are fishing and a fish is biting on your line, okay? It's a fish on feeling that is really exciting and difficult to describe, except this is it. Like I'm experiencing the fish on feeling right now with this energy and this reading, because I feel like we're connected to something especially exciting today. Okay, so focus areas for you. We have the Devil, like it was over here, and it came out over here just like a, hey, this is a great time for you to dig in. And I feel like this is again that moon energy again. We've got that full moon in Leo coming, and it's like a good time moon. I know that we've got We're going to do a reading for that one. I don't know if it's tomorrow or going to be the next day, but it's going to be a good time reading, or it's a good time moon. Um, and I know that seems strange with the devil energy, but it's like this is a great time to get in, and it never has been so enjoyable. But it's not just because of that moon energy, it's partially because of the energy you bring to it with the work that you've already done in some of these areas. And then with the Three of Pentacles here, it's like the world is laid bare a little bit. Okay, so there are going to be some places where it doesn't seem like things are necessarily working in your favor, but you're going to feel like you can weather straight through that with no real issue. There's a lot of a feeling of not being able to, not really being worried about it, not being able to use this healing that you've done in the areas of the big three in particular. So in the areas of the fear of abandonment, betrayal, rejection, you've made so much progress there that even these little mishaps kind of don't mean anything for you, I guess. And with the devil energy, it's like it's solving your problems on a beautiful day, as opposed to like solving them on a day where things are really difficult and there's pressure and you're sad. And there's something very uplifting about the opportunity to do like your work out in the sunlight. We have a Knight of Cups. This is partially your energy, but you're also attracting in this energy. It's almost flirty. It's airy. I know it's water energy, but it's very light-hearted, enjoyable sort of energy it's a fun, loving sort of time. That's what it sounds like, or that's what it feels like to me. You have a very fun-loving sort of edge to your energy where you may ordinarily feel a little bit more serious in some of those places. Has to do with the fact that you're overcoming your fears in some places, but it also is an invitation to make sure that you're able to give and receive love in equal measure. So with the Queen of Cups, that's a card of love. It's a card of extreme, like it doesn't get any more loving than that. However, being able to give and receive love are two different skill sets, kind of. It's like breathing in and breathing out. They're part of the same skill set, but they're two different skills within that, I guess. And so like your person has been not so great at giving or receiving love, where you've been better at giving it and not so great at receiving it. This is an invitation to really just kind of practice breathing in and out. Practice doing both, you know. You've got the Six of Cups here in the reverse. Everything that has happened in the past has kind of made you more ready for what is happening for you. But don't let it hold you back. Don't let it be the place that you make your assumptions about what's going to happen going forward. You have some places with the Four of Swords here in the reverse where maybe you've not yet completely healed, but you are already starting to use these lessons. And that's the sort of energy that you have around you. We know that, but it's not always smooth sailing. Sometimes using those lessons is a little bit more challenging than you might hope for it to be. And it's not always super clear which road to go down. The one thing that wants to come out of this Seven of Cups is really honestly that you do not have to make a snap decision. You can take a little bit of time. You don't have to decide right away. There's something that feels more urgent than it actually is. So be aware that something's going to come out feeling more urgent than it actually is. And when you pressure test it, you're going to discover you do have a little bit more time to work through it. Let's see, what do we have here? Nine of Wands in the reverse. Okay, places where you discover that you're resolve to remain resistant. Okay, this is a habit. A habit of resistance results in self-destructive behavior. Okay, or equals resolve toward, I guess, don't disallow yourself from moving on. If you feel like you may not need to guard yourself from something, think about what the implications are of not guarding it, the most likely implications, and then think about whether it is still worth it, because you're going to find some places where continuing to guard it is going to essentially be self-destructive behavior. So look for that. We know that there is a tendency in you, if you watched yesterday's reading, that this ought to seem kind of familiar. There is definitely a need for you to evaluate yourself as you're going forward, whether it's with your person or with this new person coming in, because you have done some very significant healing. Obviously, not all of it, but enough that you can now start to utilize it. And this is a great time for that, to resolve some issues that are still exerting some control over you. That is what that devil energy is. Um, but if you can do it without digging your hole deeper, that's essentially what that Ace of Wands would be. That would be ideal. And so, again, I don't get a sense of urgency around this. I don't feel like it's life or death. I just feel like, hey, your path is going to be easier and shorter if you're able to avoid some issues. So we'll go ahead and stop here. We'll take this into the extended. In the extended, we're going to dig a little bit more deeply into this wonderful energy we were getting here, energy or messages from the universe around your divine masculine. And they are, again, high level and yet wonderfully diverse and sharpshooty as well. I don't know. These are just really, I feel great about these messages. So we'll go into those a little bit more in the extended, and hope to see you there. The link is down below. If not, then I will see you again in tomorrow's reading.